Hello everyone. This video is regarding chapter 11 of object-oriented system development. This chapter is access layer, object storage and object interoperability. These are the different topics in this unit. Starting from DBMS, we will end with designing an access layer. This is the introduction of DBMS. We have all studied DBMS as a subject in the previous semester. So I'll just brief what is this about. DBMS, we all know, it's a set of programs that enables us to create and maintain a collection of related data. DBMS also helps us in accessing, manipulating, and protecting and managing our data. It also provides reliable, persistent data storage. It also has efficient and convenient data access and retrievals. Also, we have database represents a real world situation as completely and accurately as possible. We should also know what do we mean by persistence. Persistence refers to the ability of some object to outlive the program that created them. That means even after the program is closed, the object still remain live. So that is the meaning of persistence. The next topic is object storage and persistence. There are two types of data that exist. One is transistent and one more is persistent. The red one are transient and the blue one are persistent. Transistents are temporary data that exists only for a specific period of time, such as evaluation of expressions, procedure activations, and global variables and dynamically allocated variables. Persistent data objects are those which exist even after the program is closed. The data that exists between execution of program, data that exists between different versions of programs, and also the data that outlive the program. These are some of the essential elements for persistent storage. We should always have an identification such as object ID. The second property is always a pointer data, that is inter-object reference. Then we should always have an infinite storage or infinite object store, and also scalability to recover, stability to recover from unexpected failures and return to a consistent state. These are the essential elements for persistent storage. Next, we had always started with comparing DBMS with its counterpart, that is the file system. We all know that file system has lot of disadvantages compared to database systems. We should have separate files for separate departments, but in DBMS a single database can manage all different departments as shown in the diagram. This is an hierarchical database model where inheritance is observed. A motor vehicle can be classified into three different classes, that is a bus class, a truck class, and also a car class. This is an example of network model where an order contains data from two different classes, that is customer and soup. This is a concept of foreign keys where soup ID and customer ID are the foreign keys of order ID, which is a key. We have different database interfaces in database. Also, we have different database languages, that is DDL, that is data definition language, DML, data manipulation language, VDL, that is view definition language, and SQL, that is structured query language. Here is an example how an SQL query is written to create authentication, create a database, and then how to create a table. The next concept is logical and physical database organization. This is an important topic. Shareability, transaction, and concurrency policy. Data and objects in the database often need to be accessed and shared by different applications. Hence, shareability is a must. Transaction is a unit of change in which many individual modifications are aggregated into a single modification that occurs in its entirety or none at all. For this, we can take an example of withdrawal of money from an ATM machine. Once you enter an ATM machine to withdraw the amount, your transaction begins. You insert your card, you request for money, you insert your PIN, then you get your money back, then the receipt is received. So all these modifications in your database is called a single transaction. If everything goes well, then that is called a successful transaction. If in between something is not correct, if the withdrawal is not happening due to insufficient funds in the bank or in the ATM machine, then it is called unsuccessful transaction. Two states that are defined by a transaction, that is commit and abort. Atomicity maintains the database in a consistent state. This is the property of a database or the transaction that always maintains a database in its consistent state. The next topic is two-tier client-server architecture. In this type of client-server system, the client directly communicates with the application server. Here is an example of the next client server architecture, that is the three-tier client server architecture, where the client program directly cannot communicate with the DBMS server. In between the DBMS server and the client, we have an application or a web server which works as a broker in between the client and the server. The role of the application or the web server is to provide translation service between the client and these are the characteristics of client server architecture. It is a combination of a client, that is front end, that interacts with the user, and a server at the back end that interacts with shared resources. The client and server have fundamentally different requirements for computer resources such as processor, speed, memory, disk, IO devices. The environment is typical, heterogeneous and multi-vendor. Client server systems are scalable, horizontal as well as vertical. Horizontal means we can add more clients, vertical means we can add more servers. The next topic is distributed processing. distribution of application and business logic across multiple processing platforms. That means one application is done on two different servers. That means the process will occur on more than one processor. Next is the cooperative processing, where one work is done on two different processes as shown in the diagram. Cooperative processing is splitting of an application into tasks performed on separate computers. This is related to both distributed and client server. This is an important topic. The Common Object Request Broker Architecture, also called as CORBA. This is a diagram for this architecture. The Common Object Request Broker Architecture, also known as CORBA, is a standard defined by OMG, that is Object Management Group, designed to facilitate the communication between systems that are deployed on diverse platforms. Diverse means different types or different heterogeneous platforms. CORBA enables collaboration between systems on different operating system, programming language and computer hardware. CORBA uses an object-oriented modeling, although the systems that use the CORBA do not have to use object-oriented. It is an example of distributed object pattern. This is important. Object Request Broker implements an communication channel through which applications can access object interfaces and data requests and services as shown in the diagram here. This is an Object Request Broker channel that is in between the application and the different components. CORBA enables communication between software written in different languages and run on different computers. The next topic is object-oriented database management system. The advantages of object-oriented systems and database management systems are combined together to form object-oriented database management system. Here are the different characteristics of object-oriented database management system. It should support complex objects, must have object identity, must support encapsulation, should have different types of classes, should support inheritance, must avoid dynamic binding, it should be complete, and it should be extensible. Extensible means we should be able to add more system. Similarly, these are the database characteristics, that is object state, that means always persistent. It should always handle large database. It should always accept concurrent users. It should also recover from hardware and software failures, and also it must be simple in writing queries. This is a table to class mapping, how a class is mapped into a table. This is also table and multiple class mapping. Here two classes are mapped into a single table. The next concept is about multi-database systems. Here we study how a virtual database is created for the application. This is whatever you have studied previously, a connection, that is ODBC, object open database connectivity, and this is designing an access layer. Here there are two major tasks for access layer, that is translate the user request from business layer to the data access layer and translate the result from data layer back to the business layer. These are the different processes in creating access layers.